These names may not be too familiar, but this name certainly is. Mazda Raceway Laguna Seca, legendary in the world of racing. Young drivers know to make a name for themselves, there's nothing better than a win at this historic and demanding road course.
Big brake zones, big elevation changes. This track has a lot of corners that take a lot of bravery. You really have to drive the car and push your limits.
Mazda Raceway could also be the place for this man who had his name to the record books. Jack Hawksworth goes for the 2012 Star Mazda Championship next on the Mazda Motorsports Hour. Welcome to Mazda Raceway Laguna Seca. We're in Monterey, California for coverage of the Star Mazda Championship on the Mazda Motorsports Hour. Hello again, everyone. I'm Rick Benjamin. IndyCar star James Hinchcliffe will join me in a moment for the call. Mark Allen has our coverage this weekend on pit road and in the paddock. It's the next to last weekend of racing in 2012 for the Star Mazda Series. Captain Jack Hawksworth has all but clinched this year's title and the scholarship funding from Mazda that will allow him to take the next step up the Mazda road to Indy ladder and get to Indy Lights next year. But Hawksworth has laid down an incredible mark this season. He's accumulated yet another record here in Monterey this weekend. Let's get more on that story downstairs to Mark.
Rick, this was the scene yesterday, moments after Jack Hawksworth won a 10th peak performance pole this season, and clearly more enthusiasm than usual for the achievement. Jack, that was an awful lot of emotion for setting the record pole. Why so much excitement?
Yeah, no, I mean, every pole's always exciting. We go into every one, and everyone's really difficult to get, so every time you get one, you've got to enjoy the moment, I guess. And especially this one, it's important. It's put us in a really good position for today's race, which, if today's race goes, the way we hope, it'll put us in a really strong position for the championship. So, I think it was, emotion of. It's been a tough weekend as well. We didn't start off the strongest, and the team have worked, tirelessly to get the pole. So it's probably the most difficult pole we've had so far, and it meant a lot because it was, not just of what it, means for the championship, but also what it, it meant, over the course of the weekend to take the pole position, having, not rolled off the truck and being the quickest. So that was good.
So what's the strategy today on the cusp of a championship?
Yeah, I mean, it's the same strategy we've employed all weekend, I think, all year, sorry, and I think that's get off the line well, hopefully open up a gap and control the race, but it doesn't always work out like that. The guys behind are going to be fast, and, if we don't have the pace to win, then we'll go get out of the race, whatever we can. But hopefully we will, and hopefully we can, we can do a good enough job, but, I say, in racing, you never know, so we've got to do the best job we can.
And Rick, Sage Karam may have something to say about that. He's on the outside pole, just 6/1000th of a second slower than our points leader.
James Hinchcliffe, keeping pace with Hawksworth has not been easy for any of these guys.
It's been a challenge all year long, and no guy's trying harder than Sage Karam to bridge that gap. This is Sage yesterday before qualifying, and look what he did after qualifying. He thinks that could have been the 6/1000ths he needed.
Might have been enough to make a difference. You never know.
I was 6/1000ths off pole position, so something needed to be done, and I needed to take some action. And besides going in the engineering room and debriefing and doing everything I needed to do, I went to the barber shop this morning and got a nice little trim.
Well, the weight is the #1 thing in a race car, so his team will be happy about that.
Maybe it's a new look and a new attitude that Sage needed. We'll see. He's been a very strong contender this year. A couple of wins to his credit. 61 points is the gap, though. All Jack Hawksworth really needs to do here at Mazda Raceway Laguna Seca, finish in front of Karam. He'll clinch this championship with a week left in the season.
It's not mathematically over, but it certainly is a difficult mountain to climb for Sage Karam, especially with Jack starting on pole.
Hawksworth will start first. Karam will start alongside in the 88 car. Let's take a look at the rest of your starting lineup. Petru Savanto, the USF 2000 champ from a year ago, starts third. Good run for him.
Definitely coming on strong.
Connor DeFilippi, of whom much was expected this year, has to come from 5th on the grid.
It's been an up and down year for Connor. Not exactly what we wanted to see, especially in the second half, but never count him out.
Kyle Kaiser with a good qualifying run. Camilo Schmidt, who won that rain race at Edmonton, and Juan Pedrojita in the 5th row.
Again, all these guys have had good races and bad races, all part of the learning process that you go through when coming up through these junior categories.
Back to the 7th row, Bruno Pali, who's had a couple of strong runs, and Zach Meyer, who's had his struggles this season. He'll start in the 14th position as the field circulates. Lloyd Reed making his debut, and Ashley Freiberg in the True Car entry. Taviter in the 17th starting spot. Andres Mendez will line up also in row number 9 in the 53 car. Carlos Linares will start 19th, and then Walt Mullen, our expert class competitor, will make up the balance of the field in the 10th row here today at Mazda Raceway, Laguna Seca. James, I know you've been around this racetrack a lot of times, coming down the corkscrew, one of the signature corners in this sport.
It really is. I mean, it is world famous. Drivers from every discipline love driving at this racetrack, and especially that one corner there. So it's definitely a good thrill for these young drivers to get a taste of a historic racetrack. And let's take a look at it. Mazda Raceway, Laguna Seca. There's an 11-turn course. Obviously, turn 2 there down in that first big break zone. A lot of passing happens through there. Turn 6, one of the bravest corners in racing. Very quick, uphill, and then of course the corkscrew down the hill. Several stories. Great piece of racetrack.
All right, before the green lights, come on, let's check in with Mark Allen on pit road.
Guys, a tight racetrack, tough to pass, and a whisker separates the top 2 qualifiers in speed. Yet pole sitter Jack Hawksworth told me he expects no contact throughout the race with Sage Karam. He says, Sage has raced me clean throughout the season, and today there's just too much at stake for the both of us.
And that's a great point. These two drivers have been going at each other since the drop of the green at the start of the season, and there's been very little dirty driving, no contact, so we can expect more of the same as the red lights come on and we prepare for the start of this race. We're green.
Green lights on, and we're underway at Mazda Raceway Laguna Seca, and Hawksworth jumps to an early advantage over Karam.
A great start from the front row. Petri Savanto, not a great start, falling back a little bit, coming under pressure from some of the Juncos entries, but all clean for the front row into turn 1.
The mod space entry of Connor DeFilippi moving to 4th, picks up a spot on the go. Oh, and you put a tire off? Gosh, was that that's Scuncio, I think.
I think it was Scuncio. Yeah, it's so easy to do on the exit of turn 2 there. Turn 3, a little bit more than a 90-degree corner. Turn 4, a little bit less. It's a very challenging section racetrack, very flat. And on these open laps with these cold tires, very easy to drop a wheel and make a mistake.
Early in the going here at Mazda Raceway Laguna Seca, Hawksworth needs to finish in front of Sage Karam to lock down this title. Scuncio with the Replay XD onboard look as he put a right rear wheel off. Doesn't seem to have affected him much. He's got a lot of ground to make up, though, in the Pullman bus machine.
Climb up the hill the first time into the famous corkscrew. Gabby Chavez down the inside of Sage Karam. Pull move. Sage Karam, he Alex Zanardi's it through the corkscrew, but does not quite pull it off. Chavez holds his own, and he takes that position. Great move on what has easily become known as the best overtaker in the series. Just had a very good overtake done on him.
Gabby Chavez playing the Brian Herta role there just a little bit, but able to stand his ground, unlike Herta all those years ago.
Absolutely, and that throws Sage a little bit off, allows Connor DeFilippi to close the gap and maybe try and make a move.
And Hawksworth's got to be thrilled about this. Anytime you're leading a group of cars and you see those guys battling like that behind you, you have the opportunity to drive off and gap the field a little bit.
The first time when you're leading on a first lap and you look in your mirror and see the guys behind you side by side, you get this ear-to-ear grin in your helmet. You stop checking your mirrors and you just look forward because you know they're helping you out. They're almost taking care of it as Gustavo Menezes is under attack now.
Juan Pedrojeda on the charge, and the Petrosur 9 car picks up a couple of spots. Let's take you back a few moments ago to what happened in the corkscrew between Chavez and Sage Karam for second spot.
Brilliant stuff. Sage just goes in so deep. Gabby uses all the road, which, I mean, it was his corner, and Sage just was not willing to let it go. Brilliant driving by both guys to avoid contact and avoid any sort of spin.
All right, so Gabby Chavez trying to lay down some impressive laps and results here this weekend at Mazda Raceway Laguna Seca to set himself up for a strong 2013 run, perhaps in Star Mazda once again. We'll see how it plays out. Meantime, we watch this battle for position back around 5th and 6th. Let's get it downstairs to Mark, who's with Chavez's crew chief.
John, was the strategy to be that aggressive at the start of the race, trying to get up behind Hawksworth?
Oh, absolutely. I mean, right now we have to go for the win. There's no other choice. I mean, we have to win the race. You know, we have to win races at this point. So there's no other way to get there without winning.
Yeah, I don't think getting up behind Hawksworth is the plan. I think getting up to and then quickly past Hawksworth is the plan. And he's doing a great job. I mean, we've talked about him all year long. He's steadily progressing, and that's what we like to see here in the Star Mazda Series.
There's more to come from Mazda Raceway Laguna Seca. Welcome back to Mazda Raceway Laguna Seca on the Mazda Motorsports Hour, coverage of the Star Mazda Championship. Alongside James Hinchcliffe, I'm Rick Benjamin. Mark Allen with your coverage on pit road, and Captain Jack Hawksworth continues to impress. But how about Gabby Chavez closing right in on him?
Yeah, it's not often you see Hawksworth with this amount of pressure. Not only is Chavez tracking him down. Sage Karam's not far behind either. I mean, sometimes Sage has been up there to challenge him, but it's not often multiple cars have been this close to Hawksworth.
Karam, of course, and Chavez had that moment in the corkscrew on lap number 1. Chavez prevailing there, and he's taken advantage of that to run in second spot, but Hawksworth very, very smooth as always.
Yeah, I mean, Hawksworth has not made many mistakes this year at all. That's been one of his strengths, and you know, I am very impressed with Gabby Chavez. We spoke to him a lot at the beginning of the year. He talked about he came over late. He'd been racing over in Europe, didn't have a lot of testing, was unfamiliar with his car in some of these tracks. He had done some racing in North America in the Formula BMW Championship, but this sort of second half of the year, I mean, he's been Mr. Podium. You know, he's been either top 5 or on the podium almost every race, and he's definitely looking to end this season strongly.
Top 4 holding station. There's Connor DeFilippi in the Juncos car. Right behind him, you've got a couple of the other competitors who've been so strong this season. Diego Ferreira running in 5th spot, and Petri Suvanto in the Team Pelfrey entry in 6th. And Suvanto, his first year in Star Mazda, and James, you've talked about this, for a young driver like Suvanto, F2000 national champion, and maybe it's a 3-year progression through Star Mazda.
Well, I mean, it's his first season in these cars. He's running 5th in the championship against some much more experienced guys, Connor DeFilippi, Jack Hawksworth, Sage Karam. So I think he's right about where he should be for his first season. He's been racing, he's been on the podium, you know, maybe not as consistently as we would have liked to have seen, but again, this is all part of the learning process. So I think he's on course.
And we expect to see him back in this championship next year. And that second year is where you expect to see a young driver make a big jump in being competitive, right?
Absolutely. I mean, this is the time to make your statement, prove your case, and try to get into that team leader role that Jack Hawksworth is sort of taking over at Team Pelfrey right now. You know, Petri could very easily slip into that role, whether it's even physically into the 82 car for next year, and try and be the guy to make it 2 titles in a row for them.
Battling for position further back, that's Zach Meyer in the 66. Lloyd Reed in the 16, one of the JDC Motorsports cars, making his first start in the series with Ashley Freiberg doing a very nice job here.
Yeah, very close train here. These guys racing it up, getting some good experience as we ride on board with Freiberg now. Again, heading into this tricky turn 4. Very difficult when following other cars. You lose some of the downforce. You can see the understeer in the car. She's trying hard to fight it and doing a good job keeping up.
Our Replay XD onboard views as Meyer continues to lead Reed and Freiberg, battling for a spot. Ashley Freiberg, we have seen her turn in some very good runs. At Baltimore, she was pretty quick.
Yeah, she really did. She did a great job in qualifying, was consistent in the race. You know, it's a learning year for a lot of these drivers. Freiberg in her first season, and oh no, Bruno Pauli's having problems.
Pauli, who has been competitive at times this year, has struggled at other times. That will bring out a caution as he stops on course.
He looks confused almost. I mean, he didn't seem particularly eager to get out of the car, but didn't seem panicked. Let's take a look now at what happened. This is the last corner. Oh, and we have some sort of failure. Yeah, the car just loses drive coming off the last corner. You saw a puff of smoke, something in either the drivetrain somewhere let go there, and that's an unfortunate way to end a season. You never want to end with a DNF. You want to try and carry that momentum into the offseason. So a tough break for Bruno Pauli.
No question about it. So he is off to the right. We'll have a local yellow there. Hawksworth will lead as we stay green. Second spot belongs to the 19 car of Gabby Chavez, and we see the taillights starting to flash on Chavez's car. So it looks like we'll go full course yellow here at Mazda Raceway, Laguna Seca.
No surprise there with where Bruno Pauli's car had stopped. It was almost inevitable that a caution was going to come out to go retrieve that race car. And again, we've seen this time and time again. Jack Hawksworth leading a race, a caution comes out. But time and time again, he pulls away, he restarts beautifully, is mistake-free. So it'll be interesting to see with how much pressure Gabby Chavez was putting on him there, if maybe Gabby can make a move.
All right, safety car about to come off pit road here at Mazda Raceway, Laguna Seca. Pick up your race leader, Jack Hawksworth. Hawksworth, the guy who's getting set to take the next step on the Mazda road to Indy through the driver development program. He'll be in Indy Lights by all accounts next season. He's not the only driver hoping to make a move up the ladder. The Brit, Jack Hawksworth, has been dominant so far in the Star Mazda season, and it might have been easy to overlook his Pelfrey teammate, Petri Suvanto. Like Hawksworth, young Petri is making the most of an opportunity to race in the United States. He won the USF 2000 National Championship powered by Mazda in his rookie season a year ago, then went home to his native Finland for 6 months of required military training, and now he's back in the U.S. racing Star Mazda on a full Mazda scholarship. 5th in points, 8 top 5s, 2 podium finishes. After he talked to Mark Allen earlier this weekend about his year so far, the opportunity the Mazda road to Indy provides him.
Well, in my case, the opportunity was really everything or nothing. Last year, I came to the United States, race USF 2000, and the opportunity that Mazda is presenting as like giving a full scholarship or winning a championship, that really made my decision easier to come to USF 2000 last year, and it really made it possible for me to continue going after my dreams of becoming an IndyCar driver. And otherwise, if I hadn't won that scholarship and gotten that opportunity that we have, I'm not sure if I would be here today.
What have you learned from racing with Jack Hawksworth?
Well, Jack is an excellent driver, and like we see, he's leading the points, and he has pushed me hard this year, and I've learned various things. He's really good working with his engineers, and I've gotten a close look at his teammates. So those are some things that definitely have helped me.
How would you assess your 2012?
Well, 2012 has been a learning season for me, and to be honest, I expected that. I expected wins for this year, and that hasn't happened yet. But we still got 3 more races to go, so I'm not too worried. We got 3 more races to go, and plan on getting that first win this season. And looking at 2013, the ideal plan would be to come back to do another season of Star Mazda and really get that fight for that championship next year.
And you can see by the twinkle in his eye, James Hinchcliffe, he knows he's on the cusp of something really good.
I think he knows he can do it, and that's a very important part. And he's not cocky, he's not overconfident. He says, I knew this was going to be a learning year. You know, I am where I should be, which is what we were talking about earlier. So I definitely think that 2013, we see him there. He's going to be a force to be reckoned with.
Fans enjoying the Star Mazda Championship on the racetrack here at Mazda Raceway, Laguna Seca. We'll come right back for the restart on the Mazda Motorsports Hour. Welcome back to the Mazda Motorsports Hour, the Star Mazda Championship at Mazda Raceway, Laguna Seca. I'm Rick Benjamin, James Hinchcliffe alongside Mark Allen with our coverage on pit road. The Mazda 6 safety car about to dive for pit road. Jack Hawksworth will lead him to green out of the final corner here.
Not an unfamiliar sight this year in the Star Mazda Championship. Jack Hawksworth leading the field to a restart. The field all coming off the last corner, getting to the power, up through the gears. The green flag waves, and another tremendous start from the Hawk.
One of those skills you have to learn in this kind of racing to be successful. You've got to be great on restarts. Behind him, meantime, Chavez with a good battle going on. Sage Karam, who's won a bunch of these races this year. In third, he can't make any progress.
Yeah, 3 wins this season for Sage. Behind him, Connor DeFilippi with a pair of wins himself. Diego Ferreira behind him. It's just this top 5 group of drivers, so many of them have improved so much throughout the season. This is one of the most competitive fields, even though it's the same people driving that we've seen all year.
And it's one of those things you love to see in these ladder system formula. As we go up the Mazda road to Indy, Indy lights the next step up the ladder here. You get a look at these young guys and you think, wow, 2 or 3 or 4 years from now, we'll be watching these guys on Sunday, racing against you.
I mean, the 4 years from now, the Indy 500 champion could be sitting on this racetrack right now. We could be watching him going around Mazda Raceway. So it's a very cool thought and a very fun thing to do.
Sage Karam, I mean, I wondered earlier as we watch him run third, if he might have been in a situation where he's being held up a little by Gabby Chavez. I'm not so sure that's the case anymore.
I honestly don't think it is. We saw Gabby really putting the pressure on Jack before that caution came out. And now that they're back to green flag racing, a little bit of wheel dropping from both of the leaders. Monkey see, monkey do there. Hawksworth dropped the wheel. Chavez followed him right off. But no, now that they're gapping Sage Karam a little bit here. So I think that Gabby definitely has the pace. Fast-flowing racetrack like Laguna Seca, tough to follow.
One more car off to the right, off of the final corner, off of turn 9. Meantime, battling up ahead of him here. You got to be paying attention all the way around this racetrack.
Absolutely, you do. It's so easy to drop a wheel or make a mistake, kick up some dirt. It might have been Camilo Schmidt that dropped a wheel there. It looked like a black car, but it's maybe we can see. Oh, this is a replay of our 2 leaders.
Yeah, Hawksworth almost went off, and Chavez went way off.
You could potentially do some damage to the floor on these curbs going off like that. These drivers have to be careful.
Well, not only that, you throw dirt up on the racetrack, that makes it tough for everybody when you come along. I mean, you don't want to, with slick tires on this kind of racetrack, you don't want to dirty up the surface.
You don't, and even something like wind can blow some of the sand that you see off track there onto the racing line and make things very difficult for these drivers.
Hawksworth has led all the way in the Team Pelfrey 82 car. He's going to be the season champion if he can finish in front of Sage Karam, who runs third right now in the 88. A lot of action all over the place. Connor DeFilippi, there's Zach Beach, your Andretti Autosport teammate to Karam, battling for position back with Ashley Freiberg. That's around 13th and 14th spot.
And this is one guy that is being held up a little bit, unlike Sage Karam. He's going to try and make a move off the racing surface a bit, on the brakes. Too wide.
Went in too hard there.
Yeah, I think he got a little bit of rear lockup, the classic high-low from Ashley Freiberg, but nope, now he's going to look down the inside of turn 3. This is a tough corner to make a pass. But he pulls it off cleanly. Very well done.
Zach Beach in the K12.com entry completes the pass on Ashley Freiberg. Carlos Linares back there as well, around 15th, 16th position in that 20 car, his own car. And we'll see if Zach Beach now can, once he's cleared Freiberg, can start making some moves toward the front.
Yeah, clean air here at Mazda Raceway Laguna Seca is very important. So this is going to give him a chance to lay down some laps and try and catch that next group.
Well, Zach Beach, for a young man, has a lot of things going on in his life. He's very passionate about the effort to limit or curb texting while driving.
You know, when I was only 14 years old, there's a girl in my community that just got her license, and sadly she was texting while driving and lost her life in a fatal accident. And you know, I just thought that could have been avoided. And I come from a town of 200 people, so when something happens to one of us, it really hits home hard. So I didn't want it to happen to any of my other friends or anybody else in the world for that matter. So I just wanted to stand up, and what better way to use racing to show people that, you know, driving safe is a good thing.
So Zach Beach, a part of the Mazda Motorsports Don't Text and Drive initiative, getting started here over the last couple of days. Team Pelfrey in the lead. That's Jack Hawksworth in the 82. He's going to be the season champion if he can finish in front of that driver, the 88, wheeled by Sage Karam, the ComfortRevolution.com machine. They sandwich the current runner-up. Gabby Chavez doing a nice job, and there's Connor DiFilippi in the Mod Space 2 car, one of the Juncos entries. For Connor DiFilippi, it's been a disappointing season.
I think that's the only way to sum it up. It's his 3rd year in the Star Mazda Championship. He hit the ground running in St. Petersburg, and from there, with the exception of the victory at Lucas Oil Raceway Park, it's really been a struggle for him. He's had some issues with the car, he's had some issues on track, involved in some incidents, and definitely not the season he wanted. He's got the talent, he's got the motivation, it just didn't all play out for him this season, and sometimes, I hate to say it, but that's racing.
Sometimes it is. Back there a little further, Diego Ferreira in the 57 running 5th in front of Petri Suvanto. Top 2 continue to be Hawksworth, and Gabby Chavez laying down some impressive laps right in his tire track.
He is laying the pressure down. This race is certainly not over yet.
All right, a lot of racing yet to come here at Mazda Raceway Laguna Seca, the Star Mazda Championship. We'll be right back on the Mazda Motorsports Hour. Welcome back on the Mazda Motorsports Hour. I'm Rick Benjamin, IndyCar star James Hinchcliffe alongside Mark Allen on pit road today. Let's take a look at the Replay XD onboard view from Jack Hawksworth's seat.
Through the flat, turn 4, very fast. That's one of my favorite corners on this track. It's so difficult to get right, so much time to be made up here, and Jack's doing exactly what he has to do to stay out front right now.
Martin Scuncio back a little further. There's the 83 car, one of the Team Pelfrey entries.
Gustavo Menezes trying to chase down Martin Scuncio. Heading into turn 6 here. This is one of the toughest corners on the track as well. Oh! Speaking of which.
Scuncio plowing up the turf here.
Oh,
wow.
So close to the tire wall, but manages to bring it back. I'll tell you what, Rick, I've done the same thing,
really?
Except I got a little bit more intimate with the tire wall there. So I can attest to how hard that was and how good a job he did saving this car. So take a look at the replay. A little bit wide, the car bottoms out on the curb, and you're along for the ride.
When you get out in that part of the racetrack, you probably can't do much except try to avoid the wall, right?
You usually just end up holding your breath and trying to bring your heart rate down, because I mean, he's going through the dirt. Your steering wheel's not actually doing a whole lot when the tires are hot on gravel like that, but he did a phenomenal job. Great bit of car control.
Practicing for the Baja, not that far away, although we're in Northern California here. Zach Meyer in the 66, meantime, a driver who has had his struggles this season at times, doing a nice smooth job here. 14 laps on the board. Your running order, top of your screen. Keep track of where your favorite driver is. DiFilippi 4th, Diego Ferreira in 5th position. Some of these drivers a little further back in the running order, but Hawksworth continues to be impressive. When things are right for him, and they've been right way more than not this season, he really puts a wheel wrong.
It's very difficult. I mean, I think the only time we ever really saw him make a mistake was at Trois-Rivières in the rain behind Sage Karam running 2nd place, found the tire wall. But other than that, we've given him a lot of different scenarios in which to make a mistake, starts, restarts, passes, all sorts, and he's just done a remarkable job, stayed very calm and consistent.
Another driver having some problems behind him. Yeah, another dust cloud being kicked up as the approach up the hill there to the corkscrew. One of the things that has got to be on Hawksworth's mind, and we've talked to him many times throughout the course of this season on the Mazda Motorsports Hour, the championship is in his grasp, and the scholarship to go to Indy Lights is in his grasp. The pressure, even though he's led a lot of laps and won a lot of races, the pressure's got to be mounting for him.
I think it's a bit of a different situation for Hawksworth right now because his lead is so big and there's still so much racing left to do. He can be quite calm. He knows he's got time, and he's so confident in himself and his own ability. I don't think he's feeling that pressure. He just wants to go out and win races. He's not thinking about the championship too much right now, but it's not often we see somebody putting as much pressure on Jack Hawksworth as Gabby Chavez is right now.
Zach Beach a little deeper in the field. He won that battle for 14th with Ashley Freiberg a while ago. He's making some progress trying to reel in some of the other competitors. That's Juan Pedrojita up in front of him. Meantime, back to the front of the field. Hawksworth still in front of Gabby Chavez, and trouble for Walt Bolin.
Top of the corkscrew, it looks like.
Yeah, our expert level competitor Bolin spins. Almost got high-sided on the curbing there, but is able to get it rolling and continue.
No harm, no foul. Off you go. Most importantly, we can avoid a full course caution and keep this green flag racing.
Take one more look at what happened with Bolin coming up to the top of the hill. Wow, snapped around on him.
Yeah, maybe just a little bit of too much rear bias in the car. Maybe just entered a little bit wide, got on some of the dirty part of the racetrack. Just very, very slow and pretty incident-free spin.
For Sage Karaman, you know him well. He's part of your Andretti Autosport stable of drivers. He's got to be frustrated with this as fast as he's been at times. And now look at this. He's been passed.
Losing a spot to Gustavo Menezes, who's really laying it down. He is doing a very good job. He's got by a bunch of cars from the start and gets by again. One of the best overtakers in the business in Sage Karam.
Wow. Back to 7th position. He has lost a lot of ground to the race leader here, right in front of Pedrojita, so his championship hope's just about gone.
Just a quick look there off to the right of his engineer, Yancey Diatalevi, on the radio with his driver. Oh, and Zach Meyer now in the gravel. That is likely to bring out a full course caution.
One of your countrymen continuing to struggle, looking a little better for a while here this weekend, but off in the weeds and stalled with 16 laps on the board. And we'll see if the yellow comes out. Right now we stay green. The top two continue to pull away. Gabby Chavez very impressive here.
He really is, and I got to tell you, with this racetrack, with how fast and flowing it is, the amount of quick corners, you really need all the aerodynamics and all the downforce that you can get. For him to be running this close to Hawksworth, I promise you, he is quicker right now. It's just a very difficult track to pass on. If these two positions were reversed, I can almost promise that Gabby Chavez would be gapping Jack Hawksworth.
And this is one of those situations, too, where aerodynamics not necessarily your friend, right? Getting clean air to make a pass is really important.
Exactly right, and it's just so hard to do at this racetrack. I mean, this turn 9 here down the hill, it is so fast to even be anywhere near another car. And just off the side of your screen, we saw that is where Zach Meyer went off. It's very challenging. So Gabby's doing a tremendous job. He's got to be careful to not actually wear out his tires working too hard in this dirty air.
You've almost got to be right up to the back, to the rear wheels of the guy you're trying to overtake here and make some sort of inside move, some dive bomb move into a corner.
You do have to be brave to make a pass here at Mazda Raceway. There's no doubt about it. Whether it's down here into turn 2 or the other popular place, obviously, into the corkscrew, it has got to be a very committed attempt.
Meantime, 7th and 8th, Sage Karam in the 88 trying to hold off Juan Pedrojita. Karam, you think may have a problem with that race car?
There's got to be something. You know, he was obviously much stronger than this at the start of this race. He was much stronger than this in qualifying. He is struggling to keep everybody behind him now, threatening to fall outside the top 10. So I would imagine some sort of problem has developed on the 88 machine.
Looks to me like he's loose coming out of corners. What is that? Does that appear that way to you?
He looked loose, even a little loose going into turn 2 there. So whether it was something came loose, maybe they've picked up a slow leak or something like that. It could be a million different things. It could be a front bar broken. It could be all sorts of different things. So whatever it is, it's certainly not a pleasant car to drive, and Sage is suffering.
Trying to hang on. Of course, he came into this race with an opportunity perhaps to unseat Hawksworth at the top of the points table if he could win. Hawksworth just needs to be in front of him. It looks like that will be the case. Hawksworth would clinch the championship with a month to go. This series takes a break until the season finale during Petit Le Mans week at Road Atlanta. That is in the month of October, and Hawksworth apparently will all but lock down the title here today.
And you never want to see the title locked up before the final race of the season. With that being said, though, it's going to lead to some very exciting no-holds-barred racing in Atlanta.
Jack Hawksworth remains your leader at Mazda Raceway. At Mazda Raceway Laguna Seca, also hosting this weekend the Grand Am Rolex Sports Car Series. Former Mazda MX-5 Cup champ Jason Saney here racing in the Continental Tire Challenge, as our former Star Mazda champions John Edwards and Dane Cameron. The move from open-wheel cars to closed-fendered cars, a little different.
In 2007, I ran in the Star Mazda Championship, won that championship and Rookie of the Year. Winning that gave me the Mazda ladder scholarship to move up to Formula Atlantic the next year. The format has changed a little bit now, and then ran Formula Atlantic 2008, and then in 2009 I switched to Rolex GT to sports cars, and I've been running a Mazda and GT almost ever since.
It's actually not too uncommon for drivers to jump from the Mazda open-wheel ladder system into sports cars. Current USF 2000 driver Shelby Blackstock is already doing double duty. He's running a Grand Am machine as well.
Shelby, the USF 2000 car, how has that helped you springboard your racing career?
I love it a lot because it definitely teaches you really good car control, and also when you jump back into a Mustang, I mean, the Formula car is very, very fast. You have to be on top of it always. Then when you jump back into the Mustang, you have so much more confidence in the car. You can take the corners at a lot higher speed, and also it just teaches you better driving controls, such as feet and also hand movements.
You might have noticed country music icon Reba McEntire by Shelby's side. After all, she is his mom.
When Shelby told me that he wanted to race, I'm from a rodeo music background. Narvel's my manager and was my steel guitar player in 1980s. So for Shelby to want to come into this world was a shock to us. I've never driven past 80 miles an hour, so I don't know where he gets the speed thing. And so we're very proud of him and love to watch him. The first time I saw him race was in Daytona, and he went by me about 170 miles an hour in a pack of I don't know how many cars, and almost fainted.
That can be frightening for a mom, no matter how famous she is.
You know, she seems to be holding up pretty well, though. She's doing a good job.
Nice to see Reba at the racetrack. More to come from Mazda Raceway Laguna Seca. We'll be right back on the Mazda Motorsports Hour. Fans love to come to Mazda Raceway Laguna Seca for good reason. The action's always intense. Gabby Chavez, 12 top fives, has yet to go to victory lane. I don't know, James Hinchcliffe, the lap's starting to wind down here. Connor DeFilippi's moved to third now. For Gabby Chavez, maybe this is his day.
You know, he's certainly getting close. He's knocking on that door, and man, 12 top 5 finishes. That really does sort of explain Gabby Chavez. We said it earlier. He was Mr. Consistent, Mr. Top 5, Mr. Podium, and it shows. He's in a great position in the championship in only his first year.
I can't think of a time that we've seen Gabby this season when he's shown this much speed, though, to be really right in Jack Hawksworth's tire tracks. That's pretty impressive.
I mean, anybody to be in Jack Hawksworth tire tracks this year has been impressive. So yeah, this is definitely the raciest we've seen him. It's the closest we've seen him to the absolute point of the grid. And man, like we said, it's a tough track to pass on, but I genuinely think he is quicker right now.
Hawksworth continues to lead. He's led all the way. There's the 77 car of Zach Veach, the K12.com entry. And back up to the front of the field. Hawksworth in the Team Pelfrey 82 car continuing to lead. Gabby Chavez right behind him. They have pulled away. They've gapped the rest of the field by a significant amount here.
They are the class of the field today. There's no doubt about it. And there's just absolutely nothing between these two cars.
White flag in the air this time as the leaders come under the Mazda Raceway Bridge heading toward turn 1. As we start this last lap, we'll see if Chavez can do anything with Hawksworth. Running order at the top of your screen. They've got a big advantage over Connor DeFilippi, who has kept his head in the game and moved to third, but he doesn't seem to have anything for the two leaders.
I don't think anybody does. These guys really are a class of their own. And again, Gabby, he's close enough to be attacking distance if Jack makes a mistake. He's not going to do it on outright pace. I think he's faster, not fast enough to drive by him, but if Jack makes a mistake, which we know he's not prone to doing, he is definitely within striking distance.
Sage Karam, Juan Pedrojita back there in 7th and 8th position. Zach Veach, Ashley Freiberg back contesting 12th and 13th in front of Carlos Linares. And here comes the Pullman Bus 22. Martin Scuncio starting to reel in this battle for 7th and 8th.
Sage is trying to hold on to what he can, salvage what he can from the day. Obviously, something's gone wrong with that car. He's fallen back from his front row grid starting spot. And side by side in the corkscrew.
Hawksworth, they go at each other in the corkscrew. Hawksworth through the dirt, able to hold the lead.
Gabby's been through this already once today, and he came out on top. He is so close, but Hawksworth has the advantage into turn 10. Only one corner to go.
Jack Hawksworth, that's it. You nailed it, James Hinchcliffe, when you said it looked like Chavez could be quicker if he could get some running room. He made a bold attempt there, but it looks like it'll come up short.
Wow, that was phenomenal. Last lap racing here at Mazda Raceway Laguna Seca. That was a brilliant bit of driving from both guys. I'd love to see the start of that move and see how it all happened.
I'll tell you what, Jack Hawksworth had to go down through the weeds in the corkscrew to hold off Chavez and get to victory lane yet again, and that clinches the championship for Captain Jack in the 82 car for Team Pelfrey. He will earn the Mazda Road to Indy Scholarship Ride and Indy Lights.
Jeff, congratulations! Team Pelfrey is the 2012 Star Mazda champion. Woo!
Feels good. Honestly, amazing season. Got to thank everybody. Starts with Dale Pelfrey for putting together such an amazing team and having such, foresight to do it the right way. And, we're just really lucky to have such a good group of guys that are willing to put in the long hours and the hard work to make it happen. So, what a driver lineup this year. Jack, he's going to be racing on Sunday someday. We're really proud of him.
Hey, go celebrate.
All right, let's take another look at what happened heading to the corkscrew.
Man, he just absolutely went for it. It was a very late dive. Jack was good to see him coming and give him the room he needed. That late in the corner, he didn't have the room on the Gabby didn't even make the corner, never mind Jack. So no, that was very exciting stuff.
Oh man, I'll tell you what, that could have been disastrous for both those competitors. Would have been easy to imagine a scenario that could have seen a huge wreck happen on that corner.
Stay tuned for more of the Mazda Motorsports Hour.
Back at Mazda Raceway, Laguna Seca, Captain Jack Hawksworth celebrating a race victory that was very hard fought here today, and also celebrating the 2012 season championship. A ton of prizes to come his way.
Yeah! Jack Hawksworth, the big #1 symbol, and there is no dispute about it. Jack, you came to the United States with high hopes today at Laguna Seca, the Mazda Raceway. You are crowned the champion of the 2012 Star Mazda Series. Congratulations.
Yeah, thank you. What a place to do it as well, here at Laguna, one of my favourite tracks growing up and stuff. I just got to, first of all, say a massive thank you to those boys over there because they've been faultless all year. It's been unbelievable. We didn't expect, to dominate like we have, and to come away with so many wins in the championship is. It's just awesome. I really don't know what to say. Just apps. Best day of my life. Brilliant.
Well, we'll talk about the championship more in just a moment. There was this little matter of a race out there today, and Gabby Chavez gave you absolutely everything you could handle.
Yeah, he never let me. He never let me have a rest, did he? He was always pushing, and the boys kept radioing into me to tell me I think he was 1.5 behind most of the time, and I just couldn't shake him. But also at the same time, he couldn't catch me either. But I just knew I had to keep consistent to the end of the race. That was a hard race. That was probably the toughest race in terms of under pressure this year. But I'm so happy. The car was brilliant from start to finish. We we pushed when we needed to, and 8th win of the season. What can you say? Unbelievable.
The corkscrew is one of the most famous turns in all of motorsports, and you just got a dose of it there on the last lap. Tell us what was happening.
Yeah, I think Gabby was a bit excited, and he went for the win, and he stuffed it down my inside. I didn't really think he was that close enough to do it, and when I saw him do that, I just thought I'm going to bail. I didn't want to lose. I knew the championship was at stake, but I really wanted to win that race after leading it for so long. So I thought, right, I'm going, and we won it. So brilliant.
You got one of the most physical tracks. You've got race-long pressure and the championship weighing on your mind. He did a fantastic job today.
Gabby Chavez runs second. Sage Karam back there in 7th. The gap between Hawksworth and Karam enough to give Hawksworth the championship. Zach Beach 11th in front of Freiberg. Kyle Kaiser in his first start. Linares and Mendez. Tavita in the 33 car. Bolin and Zach Meyer. Bruno Pali had problems early. He'll be classified 20th in the final order of finish. Your runner-up, though, a strong drive today for young Gabby Chavez.
Gabby, you drove your heart out there. Let's first of all talk about that first lap when you got around Sage Karam.
Yeah, well, right now, we've been so consistent all year, and we've been so fast, and just we haven't been able to put it together for a win or for a fast lap or for a pole position. So, I went out as hard as I could. I gave my heart. And, unfortunately, we didn't have enough at the end. It was really close. We tried it, but, it's a good result, and I'm very happy, and we'll be starting from pole tomorrow.
Yeah, the bigger question is in the corkscrew. Tell us what was going on there.
Yeah, well, I got a really good run going up the hill, And I saw the gap, I went for it. You know, we were side by side going down through there. It was, you know, really close. I almost went off, Jack almost went off, you know, but it was hard and clean racing from both sides. So I'm happy with the result. I gave it all I had. It wasn't enough for the win, but it was enough for fastest lap and second position.
All right, so Gabby Chavez, his thoughts at coming up in second spot here in the first half of a doubleheader weekend at Mazda Raceway Laguna Seca. Jack Hawksworth clinching here today. Now, there was more racing for the Star Mazda Championship on this weekend. Let's show you a little bit of what happened during race number 2. Chavez able to start from the pole in this one.
We could see yesterday he had the quicker car, got the faster lap in the race, got the pole position as a result, and a good, clean getaway from the front row. But that was not the case throughout the field.
Carlos Linares replay XD onboard look, maybe got hit from behind there, got pile driven apparently into the inside retaining wall.
Certainly not the start anybody wants to the race, but definitely the start that these three wanted. Clean off the line and off to a good start.
Trouble for some of the Juncos cars, the 15 with a quick problem. Pit stop here. Martin Scuncio, meantime, in the 22, the Pullman bus car. They have problems and he would not be competitive on the day. Gabby Chavez making up maybe for what happened to him in the first race of the weekend, opening up a lead over Captain Jack Hawksworth.
And you could see how hard Hawksworth and Sage Karam were trying to catch him, but this is about as close as Jack could get all day long. And for Sage, well, it was worse than that.
Mechanical issue for the 88 car sent Karam behind the wall before the checkered flag.
The half shaft broke, so, you know, it's just the bad luck continues. We've just had the worst luck this season. It's a shame, though. You know, we were definitely really fast, and I was sizing up Hawksworth there to make a move any time then. But, you know, he ran into me in the first lap, and I think that's what maybe knocked it loose a little bit. But, you know, that was the first time Jack's actually drove aggressive a little bit because he had nothing to lose, I guess, because he already locked up the championship, so he actually raced me hard for once. But you know, what are you gonna do? I mean, my team worked so hard overnight. We got the car where we wanted it. We had what we wanted for the race, and we just couldn't really get around him. He just was good. He was good on the straightaways, and yeah, it's a shame.
Very frustrated man in Sage Karam, but a very happy man in Gabby Chavez as his team celebrates his first win of the season.
Maybe long overdue after the strong run they turned in on the first half of this doubleheader weekend. The JDC team celebrating. After the checkers, Mark caught up with our winner.
And Gabby Chavez so close yesterday. Today, not even close. What a dominating effort to get your first win of the season.
Yeah, I mean, it's so great, finally. We've been working so hard, and just to have it pay off here in Mazda Raceways, what an amazing feeling, what a great weekend.
Yesterday afternoon, when you finished second, you put a positive on it immediately by saying you'd be starting from the pole. How important was that to getting to victory lane today?
Oh, it's so important. I mean, you know, I think we're running a little bit more downforce than Jack, and you know, he was so quick on the straight, and I just had to defend the first couple laps. And then as soon as I got a little bit of a clear room, then I just started pulling away and, you know, looked after the tires, looked after the car, and I'm so happy. I can't thank the team enough and everyone who's put so much effort into this.
All right, so a successful day for Gabby Chavez, Hawksworth and DeFilippi on the podium, Diego Ferreira, Petri Sivanto, the rest of your top 5, and an interesting racing weekend, James Hinchcliffe.
It really was. We saw a couple winners over 2 races, which is always nice to see, and it's great to see a driver get his very first win.
Gabby Chavez, I think the future's very bright for him, as it is for Captain Jack Hawksworth, who will take the Mazda Road to Indy Scholarship up to Indy Lights in 2013. We're excited about that, looking forward to seeing it. Hope you enjoyed our coverage from Mazda Raceway Laguna Seca. For James Hinchcliffe and Mark Allen, I'm Rick Benjamin. See you next time.